non-attorney spokesperson.
This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
All right, great friends. What's happening? It is a Thursday afternoon. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. And yeah, we come to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. Okay. So, guys, I mentioned this at the end of the first segment. I want to jump right into it now. Tonight, when the Padres play the Giants and they start this 4-game series, and by the way, Alex, if you put up the standings in the National League West, this is and Browner, I don't want to overstate this because yesterday, I know I got a lot of people on social media saying, dude, calm down. It's still only July. And I was talking about this whole Manny Machado thing yesterday. But I really think this series against San Francisco is a monster series. San Francisco is 10.5 games back of the Dodgers. They're trying to crawl back into this thing. Padres are now 6 games behind the Dodgers. And the Dodgers just got done sweeping Colorado last night. So if you're the Giants, it's a huge series for you because you're trying to crawl back in. If you're the Padres, it is a monster series because of the way things have gone in the last 14, 15 games. Alex, you'll have to give me the exact numbers, but I said yesterday, I think they've lost 8 of their last 10 and 12 of their last 14. So the Padres got to get
it's 9 of their last 12.
9 of their last 12? Okay. All right. So the Padres got to get themselves right. And when you lose to the Dodgers 3 out of 4, and then you come home and you lose 2 straight to Seattle, and now you get an off day, hopefully everybody got a chance to rest, recover, relax, whatever, get your head on straight, because I'll tell you right now, you got to win this series. A split, no blood, but I don't know how you guys feel about this. You got to win this series. You're at home. You're playing a division rival. They're 4.5 games behind you. You're 6 games behind the Dodgers, who are now surging. You got to win this series. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. It's not just necessarily the current standings. I think it's momentum going into the All-Star break. I think it's way too much familiarity to 2021 season. The Giants are not playing well either. You just swept them in San Francisco last time you played them. You have Joe Musgrove on the mound tonight to start it off. I think that it is a very, very, very important series for momentum. Now, everybody here can be like, well, they can go get swept and then win their final 5 and then go to the All-Star break on a 5-game winning streak. And you're right. But beating Colorado and beating Arizona is not beating the Dodgers and not beating the Giants. Big difference. We've seen the difference here already. We've seen how they play against good teams. We've seen how they play against bad teams. It is an important series. It's not make or break, but it is important for momentum going into the All-Star break.
When you need to win, it doesn't matter who you beat. Now, I agree. We're on the same page. This is a very important series for them to be aggressive. I think it's great. Joe Musgrove is the starting pitcher for tonight. Because as the team leader, the staff leader, you need him to set the tone for the series. If you're going to pay that man, here we are again, and back-to-back starts now where he needs to come through.
Okay, let's just go back here. 2 starts ago, Joe Musgrove was coming out of COVID. Didn't pitch particularly well. It was his first really kind of poor performance of the year. And then in his most recent outing against the Dodgers, and Joe Musgrove did what you are supposed to do as a starting pitcher to win games. And as I recall, the numbers were 7 innings pitched and 10 strikeouts. And I think he maybe even gave up, was it 3 runs? Yeah. But the offense scored a grand total of 1. And so they squandered Musgrove's performance on Friday night, or was it Thursday night of last week?
Thursday.
And then they squandered the next great performance, which was Blake Snell, who can't buy a win. And he had 12 strikeouts. And so the starting pitching was not the reason why the Padres lost at the Dodgers. But your point is made, Browner. If Joe Musgrove is the leader of the team and of the pitching staff, and you're pitching at home against a division rival who's 4.5 games behind you and they're not playing well, yeah, you need a stopper. Tonight, Joe Musgrove has to be that guy.
But let's really zero in on what the Padres need to do this weekend. Score more than 1 run. Score a run.
Start.
You know, Like if Joe goes 7, 10 strikeouts, 3 earned runs, and the Padres score 1 run, then it doesn't really matter. If Blake Snell goes 5 innings, 12 strikeouts, 1 earned run, it doesn't really matter if the Padres can't score. The Padres offense is the problem here. They need to step up. We need to see some clutch hitting when they get a lot of hits. They get a lot of walks.
I was just about to say that.
They get a lot of people on base. But the problem is that the Padres get them in bunches. They'll go out and they might have a game this weekend where they score 10. And then the rest of the 3 games, it might be like 2 or 1. So the Padres need to consistently score runs to take some pressure off the staff, who has not been as excellent as they were to start the season.
But when you struggle to score, consistency is usually the main issue. Like, it's not that they can't hit, because they've shown that they can hit. Against good teams, they've shown that they can hit. They haven't shown that they can consistently hit.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a sign that not necessarily of them not being able to sustain hitting. They just don't have the guys to do it, because Manny's been consistent. Eric Hosmer had a large chunk where he performed.
Manny was consistent before his injury.
Is he hurt?
What do you think?
What do you think?
Is he in uniform?
What do you think?
Well, I think that
you're going to talk about it. What do you think?
I think that the only day that I'm healthy is the first day of spring training. Every day after spring training, I'm not 100%. What do you think?
Well, there you go. There you go.
What do you think?
There you go. I mean, you're going to talk about it. You do it.
I knew yesterday. I knew exactly what was going to happen yesterday too. Once I started ripping Manny for being such a jerk, everybody's like, "Oh, dude, I understand where he's coming from. He's in pain and he's annoyed, and the team's not playing well." And I just know the way it goes. Fans love their players. They hate the critics of the players. I've been on the radio in San Diego 20 years. I don't give a flying you-know-what.
Ooh, I thought something else was coming.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't do that. But my point is that I told you the way I felt about Manny Machado yesterday, and his, in my opinion, his entertaining but arrogant position yesterday in the post-game, post-game media scrum in the locker room. So I knew what was going to happen. Half the people were like, finally, somebody telling it like it is. And the other half of the people were like, screw you, he's our guy, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I want Manny Machado to succeed like everybody else wants Manny Machado to succeed. But the fact of the matter is, and Heath Bell laid it out perfectly yesterday, once Manny Machado got hurt, you can see how offensively, how weak the Padres are. So, look, that's not really what I wanted to talk about today.
Manny Machado is a very important piece to this weekend too. If Manny Machado is still struggling, then the team's going to struggle. That's not a take. That's just a fact.
Yes.
Like when Manny Machado struggles, the team struggles. So if he continues to struggle, it might be a long weekend.
Well, let me talk about something else related to tonight's game, though, because the game is at 6:40, but the Padres have suggested to fans to be in their seats by 6:20. I'm going to explain why in just 1 second. But before I do,
what's going on in your house today?
What's going on in my house?
Yeah, did you getting your Barry White on? Like, what's up with the romantic lighting today?
Yeah.
Nothing different, dude. Am I looking really dark today?
Baby. Yeah, I'm trying to set the mood. It's a Thursday.
Super dark in my dungeon here today.
Yeah, I got the bright pink shirt on, and everything else is dark around me. I want all the attention to be on my pink shirt today.
Yeah.
Well, this pink shirt, these are my friends Jeff's Beach Burgers, and they're down in the La Jolla.
I'm going there this weekend, man.
Oh, dude, I'm going there tonight. I'm going to go tonight. My kids want to go tonight and check it out. Does it look super dark in my dungeon today?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. I don't do anything different. I think
it's when it's cloudy outside. It's dark,
overcast.
Yeah, I know. All right, I'll open up some shades here in a little bit. In the meantime, let's all get down and be romantic Barry White style with my pink shirt on.
Yeah.
Before I get to what I really wanted to talk about tonight's game, I do want to just remind everybody about our friends at Mazda of Escondido, mazdavescondido.com. And I'll just make this real brief and just tell you this. If you have a used car and you're thinking to yourself, why do I have this car? I'm in this exact situation. I've got these 3 Mazdas and my kids are all home from college for the summer. And then what's going to happen is Justin's going to go back to school and he's going to leave a car here. which is the CX-5. Then Jillian's going to drive back to Boise in the CX-30. And Jaden's going to go down to Tulane, and she's leaving a car, which is fine, her CX-30, because then Julia's going to get her driver's license, and she's going to take over driving Jaden's car. But now I'm sitting here with an extra car. I don't want an extra car. I don't want an extra payment, So I want to sell my Cadillac, but it's leased. But you see, if the lease is let's say the payoff is $20,000 and the car is worth $30,000, I actually want to go sell the car now, pay off the lease, and keep the extra money. I think I told you guys this story. I had a friend of mine who had a Tesla, used Tesla. He had it. I mean, he had it for like 3 years. The payoff on the lease was like 60 grand. He had a broker sell it for 90 grand. He pocketed 30, sold it, and went and bought one of those new Rivian electric trucks. Great move. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to take my Cadillac to Mazda of Escondido to see Alan, and I want to sell this vehicle, and I want to pocket the difference. So if you've got a used car right now that you either want to trade in, which means you're going to get top dollar, or perhaps you just want to sell it outright, Mazda of Escondido needs your used cars, and they're paying top dollar. So check them out, Mazda of Escondido, MazdaofEscondido.com. All right, let me get back to why tonight is an important night at the Padres-Giants game. Because it's not just another baseball game. Tonight is the, I'm going to say celebration, and I'm going to call it an induction into the Padres Hall of Fame for what I really think are two Padre legends. Larry Lucino. Now, Browner, we've talked a lot about Padres battle scars. Do you know Larry Lucino and his story?
I don't know him personally, but I know the name, yes.
All right, let me tell you the story of Larry Lucino real quick.
Give it to me.
So when the Padres, this is going back to the late 90s, Larry Lucino came to the Padres from the Baltimore Orioles. While with the Orioles, he was the guy who really led the construction of the new ballpark. I call it new. It's now 20 plus years old, Camden Yards in Baltimore. The Padres went out and got him. John Moores at the time went out and got Larry Lucino, saying, well, if he did it there, he can do it here. The Padres, I think people understand the history, in 1998 went to the World Series against the Yankees. And that really, that created a sense in the community that there needed to be more support for the Padres, and they needed their own ballpark. Remember, Qualcomm Stadium was just like Three Rivers in Pittsburgh, like Riverfront in Cincinnati, like the Coliseum in Oakland, and like other baseball/football multi-use stadiums back in the day. The Padres, with all of their success, said to the public, let's build a ballpark downtown. What I don't think any of us knew back then was that when the ballpark would be built, that 15 years later, downtown San Diego would literally grow up around Petco Park. And that has happened. Now, all the things that people were told about how the Padres would be better and they'd be more competitive and they'd be a championship contender and so on, that has not happened. But we are in an era right now where through new ownership and an infusion of dollars, we obviously can see that the Padres are spending more than ever before. And I think winning has become more important to the Padres as a franchise than it was back then. Larry Lucino got Petco Park built. And even after the studs went in the ground and all the lawsuits and everything that happened, it ultimately got done. And really the guy most responsible for leading the charge is Larry Lucino. And he's always been great to me, even when he left the Padres and he went to the Red Sox, where he had even more success as an executive, winning championships. Larry Lucino has always maintained a home in San Diego. And like I said, my experiences with him, guy's always been great to me. And I know a lot of people have a tremendous amount of adoration for Larry Lucino. So he's going into the Padre Hall of Fame. But perhaps really the bigger name, at least from my perspective, because I'm so close to the situation, Ted Leitner. Uncle freaking Teddy Leitner is being given the respect and the honor that he has earned and deserved as the 40-year voice, or whatever the number of years was that he was the voice of the Padres. And make no mistake, by the way, through ownership changes and front office changes, Ted Leitner, who will be celebrated by the Padres, along the way was utterly utterly disrespected by previous Padres administrations. Just the facts, man. Okay? Ted, if he wasn't an ambassador to the team, and if he really just wanted to get raw, he would tell you all about it. It's not today. It's not Peter Seidler. It's not everybody who's at the Padres today. It's the previous administration that was constantly trying to push Ted out. But at least Ted is going to get his due now and is going to go into the Padre Hall of Fame. Alex, I know you got some video here that is going to be celebrating Ted. Can we all watch this together?
Yes.
Let's take a look at this.
Deep right field. If that's fair, it's gone. And it is going and gone. Home run. Anthony Keith Quinn, 4-2 Padres.
You kept the faith. You supported the Padres in the city. And here we are today as a result. Thank you.
And the San Diego Padres. That's right. Them Padres have the 2005 National League West Championship. They're just coming out just full speed from the bullpen, from the dugout, bouncing up and down in front of the mound here.
And the ultimate team player has just set the ultimate individual relief record in baseball history. How about that? 479 saves for the great Trevor Hoffman of the San Diego Padres. The 1-2 pitch. Outside corner, strike three called. 500 saves. 500, count them. Boy, that's a big number up on the scoreboard out there.
Man, I'm telling you right now, I have goosebumps. I don't know if you guys get the same emotion hearing Ted's voice and seeing some of the all-time great moments. Mostly probably because I was standing there. I mean, Ted Leitner in a tuxedo on the opening day of Petco Park. I mean, if the camera would have scrolled to the left, I'm standing right there with Billy Ray. Billy Ray's looking at me going, "What are we doing here on the field?" I'm like, "Bro, nobody's stopping us. Nobody's kicking us out. Let's be here." Trevor Hoffman's 479. Trevor Hoffman's 500. I mean, great moments in Padre history. Tony Gwynn's home run against the Yankees in the World Series. I literally have goosebumps all over my arms because, I mean, listen, I've told this story 1,000 times. I mean, Ted Leitner, when I got to San Diego, I walked up to him at a Charger training camp one day and I said, "Hey, you're Ted Leitner." He goes, "Yes, I am. I'm Scott Kaplan." I go, "If it wasn't for you blazing trails in San Diego, obnoxious loudmouth like me doesn't get out here." And, man, it is so great to see Ted get this honor. So I know what the Padres are asking for, and I'm just going to throw this out there to everybody. If you can get into your seats tonight by about 6:15, you'll be there for the celebration. So plan accordingly. Alex, what do you think? I mean, you know Ted pretty decently.
I do.
What do you think about this? Yeah.
No, I think it's awesome. I think it's the respect that he deserves. My entire Padres up until a few years ago, but my entire connection to the Padres was 1090, and I did hundreds of Padres games as a board op producer, whatever you want to call it, with Ted. And I think it's amazing. I don't know if the Aztecs have a Hall of Fame, but he needs to be in that one too if he's not. But this is going to be great, man. And Uncle Teddy, it's all these moments that happen at Petco. You saw the opening, you've seen Tony Gwynn's retirement, Trevor Hoffman's retirement, the statues unveilings, the number, all the stuff that he's ever done, like emceeing. It's going to be great for him to be emceed.
Right.
Like he's been the MC for all these moments. Now he's going to get a chance to be emceed by somebody, and that's awesome.
Yeah. I wish I could be there tonight. I really do. I wish I could be there.
I also think it's like Tatis blanket night, so it's going to be packed.
Yeah. I just wish I wish I could be there. Unfortunately, I can't make it down there tonight, but I'm so happy for Ted Leitner. I'm so grateful for the time that I got with Jerry Coleman and Ted Leitner. I'm grateful for the time that I spent with Ted as a colleague, not just, as 1090 having the Padres, but, Ted did a lot of talk radio for us back in the early days of 1090. And, like I said the other day, when I talked about Hank Goldberg dying at 82 years old, how I kind of regret the fact that I didn't make more time to go visit Hank in Vegas. I mean, freaking Ted's right around the corner. It's baseball season. He's not working right now. And I've always been saying to Ted, "Hey, let's get together for lunch. Let me come take you out to dinner, etc." And I haven't done it. So this is going to prompt me to go visit with Ted, because tell you, man, he's been a great influence in my life. not so much in sports radio and not so much in media, in real life. I can't tell you the number of times I've leaned on him and whined to him and cried to him about what was going on in my life, divorce, kids, money, etc. Because he was not only a trailblazer in our industry, in our community, but I mean, everybody knows about his personal life, and married again. And so he's just a great resource, and I always
think
felt,
it's great people are honoring him when he's alive to hear it.
yes,
That's the thing I'm most happy about. Like,
Yeah.
he's getting these honors while he's alive, to be thankful to have them. And that's, to me, that's the best part about all of this.
You're so right. You're so right, Brown. The fact that he gets, because he'll lose it tonight. He will lose it
Oh, he's
tonight.
gonna cry, absolutely.
Because when you think
yeah.
about it, it's like he would have liked to have continued doing the radio calls of the Padres games. They just, I say that, they were ready to get younger. They were ready for new blood. They were ready for a whole new regime, if you will. And they've done that. But at least they're giving him his proper due tonight. So congratulations, Uncle Teddy. We love you. We appreciate you, and we will celebrate you tonight. All right, we are coming right back to the 7 Mile Casino Studios, along with Browner and Grande. This is Kaplan and crew. Stick around, everybody.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Dominating the SoCal radio airwaves for over 20 years. Join Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner for Kaplan and Crew every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com.
Please welcome in tax attorney Adam Brewer. Adam, thanks so much for joining us again on Main Street Living.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be back.
So, of course, we have more tax questions for you. First of all, what are the types of business entities that business owners can use?
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd ask this question. So this time of year, this is when, business owners probably just got handed a pretty big tax bill. And so naturally, the next question is, how can they save taxes? How can they save on taxes? And so that's where these business entities really, they may come in. So yeah, what we're looking at is corporations or limited liability companies, more commonly called LLCs. So definitely by using either a corporation or an LLC, business owners may be able to really save on taxes. For the most part, when we talk about tax savings, we're looking at like an S Corp election. And so again, an LLC can do that, a corporation can do that. But the net result is you want to save on what's called self-employment tax. So for 2022, a business owner is going to, by default, pay self-employment tax on the first $147,000 of taxable income. So that's 15.3%. By doing an S Corp election, putting yourself on payroll, you can really drive down how much of your income you have to pay that 15.3% at. Beyond the tax savings, it just offers an extra level of protection between the business owner's personal assets, say their home, and their business operation. So, no matter what business you operate, you're going to have some exposure to liability. So an entity like a corporation, like an LLC, it just puts that extra level of protection between the business and then what the owner has on their personal side.
Yeah, well, clearly a plethora of information that you always provide to us, Adam. We appreciate you being on the show. Where can our viewers get in touch with you for more tax help?
Yeah, like always, they can visit my website, triumphovertax.com, or feel free to pick up the phone. You can always give me a call, 619-591-9500.
Main Street streets are the heart of our communities, where we connect with our neighbors, support local businesses, and share new adventures. Main Street Living celebrates all of this, bringing you uplifting stories with guests from across the country and your community. From our street to your street, Main Street Living, Mondays at 9 on Your View.
Main Street Living celebrates Pride Month in partnership with Subaru of El Cajon, an extraordinary experience for everyone.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
Go for it. All right, everybody. We've been promoting all show long that San Diego State Athletic Director JD Wicker is going to join us. So welcome back to all the 1090 radio listeners, to everybody on YouTube. You've been with us. Jump into that YouTube chat and let us know what you think about this interview we're about to do. To everybody that's listening on audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Amazon Music, iHeart. Glad to have all the podcast listeners here. And on television tonight, Channel 4 San Diego, part of the Cox View Network. You'll see this interview with JD on Channel 4 in San Diego. You'll see it on Channel 4 in Santa Barbara. You'll be catching up to it tonight on Channel 118 in Orange County and in Los Angeles. So here he is, the athletic director from San Diego State. JD Wicker returns to Kaplan and Crew. JD, good afternoon. How's things going?
Good afternoon to everybody. Everything is going well. Aztecs are in good place. We're less than 2 months to opening the new stadium, and we're excited.
JD, this new stadium, I drive by it all the time. I'm blown away by what I see. I desperately want to get in. I see friends of mine that are Aztec alums and supporters that have taken the tours. They've eaten the food. It really went from a few years ago, a controversial vote and blah, 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 to today it's reality. And it just looks amazing. I have to congratulate you and everybody at San Diego State. And hopefully the stadium is everything that we community-wise want it to be. I actually can't wait for it to open. So congratulations. Place looks amazing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's we're very excited about what we're doing. We've said all along we wanted to build a building for the community of San Diego. It was going to be great for Aztec football, and it's going to be great for the Wave FC. It's going to be great for the San Diego Legion. It's going to be great for all the Parrot Heads that are going to show up on October 22nd. We're delivering on the concerts we said. Great conversations around, men's professional soccer, and other events that we've got lined up that we haven't announced yet. So, and it's going to be spectacular. We really took to heart, we're in San Diego. It's great weather year round. So a lot of phenomenal social spaces in the building, all of the premiums good, food partners, beverage partners that we've yet to announce that'll be coming. So it will be the place to be.
JD, I got to ask this question, and I know this is going to sound like way off the beaten path, but why did you guys choose to go with a natural grass surface rather than, not dealing with the maintenance and the cost by just laying down a turf surface?
Yeah, I think that's something, we've played football on natural grass forever. Soccer prefers natural grass as well. So, we'll see how it goes. We've got, a great surface that, one of the issues before at SDCCU was you get into the cooler months and the grass didn't grow as well. But, we think we've got a version that will, help us avoid that. We know we're going to probably have to replace the field at least once or twice a year. So we're budgeting for that. So it's going to be a great surface. It'll be interesting to see how it holds up under everything. But we've got a great crew and a great turf.
Yeah, place looks amazing. Really does. Cannot do anything other than congratulate and thank San Diego State because, we didn't want you guys playing up in LA, frankly. JD, when does the rest of it get going? When I say the rest of it, I mean the surrounding area around the stadium. When does San Diego State's expansion happen after the stadium opens?
Yeah, so we'll probably be under construction for the first residential block, probably first quarter, maybe second quarter of 2023. And then the Innovation District probably follows end of 23 and beginning of 24. The River Park will open in 2023, probably fall of 2023. So it's moving along. We're definitely, there's a lot of work going. There was obviously a lot of work to get to the point where we are. Hotel conference centers probably a number of years away, but beginning, probably early next year, you'll start to see that first residential building go, and then you'll continue to see buildings popping up over the next 10 to 15 years.
All right, JD Wicker is here. He's the athletic director at San Diego State, along with Grande and the Brown Man. This is Kaplan and crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios.
But you're done, right, JD? Like your stadium's done. You got bigger fish to fry now. Like you're gonna move to conference realignment and MLS, or you don't have anything to do with the residential and like you yourself.
Yeah, you ain't building no beds, are you?
Yeah,
we got
no,
our stadium.
I mean, obviously
Right.
we have about 57 days to go or something like that. So I don't know if it's a freight train bearing down on us or the light at the end of the tunnel, but we'll be ready on September 3rd. And then, we're involved with everything else going on just because, when we have a stadium event, it will impact the entire site. So we just want to make sure that, everyone remembers what that means. But no, we don't have any decision making in, what's going where. We're not putting any beds in rooms. We're not deciding who's going to the innovation district, those types of things. So at that point, we'll move on to, what our next project might be.
All right. So JD Wicker, let's jump right into then what we really wanted to talk about, which is, let me start off by asking you this question. When you heard about USC and UCLA, is this news to you, or in your industry, is this something that everybody kind of is hearing whispers about and they kind of know it's coming? Because I can only say this, JD, from our perspective, in the morning, it was USC and UCLA are rumored to be going to the Big Ten, and by afternoon, they were putting out press releases. So I don't know if this just got out there. It seems like everybody in the Pac-12 was caught off guard. How about you guys?
I've heard for a long time that SC, looks longingly at other places. That can go back to my time in Washington State, and SC talked a lot about it. And I guess when I heard the news, I was surprised just because I had not heard anything about it at that point. But it doesn't surprise me the move was made. UCLA does surprise me a little bit. However, nothing, I guess, surprises me in college athletics these days.
I'm happy they're gone. I'm full disclosure. I'm happy they're gone because now that makes room for us. When I say us, I mean San Diego State. Have you made the call? Talk to me. Give me some good news.
This kind of goes back to, it goes back to the stadium discussion. All throughout the stadium, everyone's been asking, what are you going to do? Who's going to play there? We've talked to everybody, as we did with the stadium. We're talking to, all the different players as we think about, conference realignment. Obviously, we have done a lot to place San Diego State in a good position. Between, if you look at certain commissioners out there who have said, the commitment needs to be made to football and you need to invest in it. Well, we're investing in football. The academic institution is growing. That's very important for the Pac-12. I mean, if you look at the Big Ten, while they put, a lot on what their athletic is, every school in the Big Ten is an AAU institution, which is the highest academic designation you can have, except for Nebraska, and they were an AAU when they went in. So USC and UCLA are in the Big Ten because they're AAU institutions, along with, the LA market and, being pretty good in athletics. So it's important for the academic side of the house to be doing very well. Mission Valley and that the ability to grow our research footprint is really going to help. And our success across the board. I mean, not only are football and basketball doing well, we've got 55 conference championships in the last 10 years. So we're successful across the board.
Okay. So does San Diego State have this designation, this AAU?
No, our goal is to become a Research One, which is, kind of the next designation below AAU. We've been held up because of, basically state of California law. Back in the 60s, they made the decision you would have the UC and the CSU. The UC would do research, the CSU would do workforce development. And so like San Diego State can offer an independent doctoral degree, and that's a big thing for Research One, and to get folks on campus for research. So we've done a lot of good work on workarounds. We do joint doctorates. I think we'll have, last year we were 140 million in research dollars. We should be more than that this year. And so we think we'll be an R1 next year, which is, an important designation to have.
Got it. We're talking to JD Wicker. He's the athletic director at San Diego State. Are San Diego State and Boise State a couple? Remember years ago, this is before you got to San Diego State, but San Diego State and Boise State were going to join the Big East together. So as we look at USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten together, and now there's this rumor today about, North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, and Virginia going to the SEC. I would have thought Duke and North Carolina were a couple. Are San Diego State and Boise State, is it both of you, or San Diego State just focusing on itself?
I mean, and I was working for Jim Sturk when we went to the Big East for the cup of coffee.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
So not necessarily. I mean, I think, one of the challenges that Boise State's going to see is they are a relatively young institution as you think about four-year institutions. And they're growing their academic component. So that may be something that holds them back from a Pac-12 type of thing. Right now, we're concentrating on San Diego State and, making, us the best that we can possibly be. We have certainly worked with Boise a lot since, that Big East move. And then as we've moved through the Mountain West conferences, the two most consistently successful football programs for sure in the Mountain West, and basketball to a certain extent. Certainly had a lot of conversations with Kurt Apsey, who was the AD, who now actually works for San Diego State. And now Jeremiah Dickey, the athletic director up there. A lot of conversations last summer as we worked through the realignment when, the Texas and Oklahoma went to the SEC. A number of schools out of the, moved up to out of the American Athletic into the Big 12. And then, there was some discussion of whether certain Mountain West Conference schools would go to the American or stay in the Mountain West.
See, JD,
this is a very general, open question for you. Where do you see the athletic department?
I see us in San Diego. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, again, you have to be invited. I mean, that's the thing that I always tell people. And so we have to make ourselves be the best version of ourselves that we can. And that's, we're investing in football, to help that with the stadium. The stadium also benefits our soccer programs and our women's lacrosse program. They'll get to play there. And it also adds money to the bottom line of our budget. So every student athlete in our building will see benefit from the stadium. But what the outside world sees is they're investing in football. And, that's what writes the checks right now. If you talk to a TV executive, they'll tell you that 80 to 85% of what they're paying a conference for their rights is football related. So if, the Big Ten is going to make $1 billion off of their next TV deal, 800 to 850 million of that's tied to football. So that's the most important thing we can do right now. And then just continue to have success at football, continue to have success at men's basketball, because that's kind of the next piece that's out there publicly, and keep beating Pac-12 teams.
And you guys have done that consistently. You've been the best football team, the best basketball team. It's great that you preferenced that before this question. You've put so much work into these programs being successful on a national level as high as you possibly can. If you, at the end of the musical chairs that is happening as realignment, if San Diego State gets left out of the realignment when the shuffle is over, what would that mean for the program?
Yeah, I mean, we keep doing what we're doing. We keep investing. I mean, we live in Southern California. We live in a recruiting hotbed. It's one of the greatest places in the world to live. We're the 8th largest city, 27th, I think, largest DMA, which is how they measure television sets. So we're very attractive, and we're doing the things that we need to do. So, we'll keep putting the money into it to continue being successful like we have been. We're fortunate that the new stadium is going to, really do well for Aztec athletics, for Aztec football. We're going to sell out of our premium before the season starts. Season ticket sales are going well. And then we have a significant number of other events that are going to generate revenue for us. And that helps us. And the Viejas Arena, again, is another great place where we're filling that building. We've got exciting, teams, and, we're working through NIL. We've done a really good job with NIL. It's not as, flashy as maybe some other schools, but we've got all the pieces in place so that our student athletes can take care of their NIL. And, that's an important piece as well. Kids want to play. You're not going to stockpile all the recruits at Alabama or Texas or places like that because they want to get on the field to play. So we continue to be an attractive outlet. And, I think we keep doing what we're doing. We will end up in the next best place, whatever the next iteration of the NCAA is.
All right. We're talking to JD Wicker this afternoon, the athletic director at San Diego State. So JD, you said it just before, you have to be invited, right? Like you got to have the Pac-12 come invite you, or you have to have the Big 12 come invite you. I just wonder, from your perspective and with all of your experience around college sports, if you could pick and choose, like, where does San Diego State belong? What would you say?
I mean, I think the best thing for us is the West Coast. You look up and down the West Coast, we do the majority of our recruiting on the West Coast. And then, Texas is probably our next biggest area where we're doing recruiting. But you think about time zones, where the institution wants to recruit students from as well. And you look at the major, cities up and down, the West Coast, that's where the Pac-12 lives right now. So that's not to say that, being in the Midwest and getting some better TV time slots, getting into Texas where we do a lot of recruiting already, they both have their, benefits. So I think, for us, it's going to be most important is what gives us the best chance to be successful going forward and the best chance to be part of whatever the next iteration of the NCAA is.
Yeah, because I think if I were in your shoes and somebody asked me the same question, like, what's the best place for you? My answer today would be, I'm not really sure yet, because I don't know how this is all going to play out. Like, let me ask you this. Do you think 100%? So JD,
could look different tomorrow.
That other Pac-12 schools will wind up defecting to the Big Ten in particular?
I think, and it's been written pretty widely about, and, folks I've talked to, the next domino that has to fall is Notre Dame. If and when Notre Dame decides to go to the Big Ten, or, they could go to the ACC since they already have a relationship there, that's the one that sets off the next domino of who's going where. So could more teams out of could USC and UCLA have said, hey, we're going to come to the Big Ten, and then, when that next domino falls, we want you to create a West Coast division of the Big Ten? No, I have no idea if that was said, but I mean, that could be, because right now, imagine those, that UCLA softball team that wins national championships on a regular basis, or, the women's soccer program, or whatever it may be, that they're flying 4 to 6 hours every other week to go play games on the East Coast. That's not going to play real well long term, I don't think. So I would think they would hope for some regionalization as potential moves continue to be made. But that's purely speculative on my side.
I like the Big Ten West. I
Great.
like that
I mean,
idea.
think about that. If you had Washington, Oregon,
good.
Stanford, Cal, USC, UCLA, San Diego State, Utah. I'm just thinking out loud here, JD. But I guess really for us, and I'm sure it's the same thing you've been hearing from everybody else, all we really care about is that San Diego State does not get left behind. And by the way, that's what we're thinking, but I guarantee you it's what everybody else is thinking around the country too. You came from Georgia Tech. I'm a Pitt alum. We're ACC schools. We don't want to get left behind. And that's the big concern.
Again, there's you just don't know at this point, and what does the future hold? One of the big things that, kind of gets lost in all of the, the realignment talk is, there's still the transformation committee doing their work on what, the NCAA looks back. There's a a case in the Third Circuit called the Johnson versus NCAA case. That's a minimum wage case where student athletes are suing that they should be paid minimum wage, which would create basically student workers, not employees, but, a kid, the student that works in the library or, taking tickets, those types of things, that's out there that, that's a scary case. And then you've got, Ramogi Huma up in LA, who's got a National Labor Relations Board, case filed against USC, UCLA, the Pac-12. I don't know if he'll have to change it now to the Big Ten, but it's the Pac-12 now and then the NCAA, trying to create employees out of student athletes, which if that happens, then that changes, that really changes the calculus of what, the NCAA looks like.
Man, this is a crazy time in your business, pal.
It is interesting.
Gosh, you've got a lot going on. I think I got a lot. I think I'm busy, man.
How are you handing out stadium tours then? What do you,
Yeah, we got 30 seconds to go. JD, who do we have to know to go down there and tour with you and put on hard hats and take pictures?
Well, I just assumed you had all the renderings that Alex had in his book, and it was like you were in this.
Oh, dude,
that's
that
a good
book.
one.
It's gonna be like a 5-volume set at this point with all the sports arena
well,
ones
I'd always
now.
promised that if we open the stadium, you printed that book, you could have your book signing at the stadium.
Oh,
nice.
JD, we got to roll. We really appreciate you visiting with us and spending this time. I know everybody listening really, really appreciates it. Everybody watching does as well. Thank you so much. Hey, to all the 1090 listeners, I just want to say we're out of here, okay? For everybody else, we'll have a separate ending for you, and we're back tomorrow, radio listeners. Peace out.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Locally owned and operated, not some bland, uninspired, corporate, cookie-cutter radio station crap. We simply say to those stations, Q. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Please welcome 4 of the 5 San Diego County Teachers of the Year from the 2021-2022 school year. From Central Elementary School, Laura Reyes. From Westville High School, Tiffany Jokers. From San Jose Elementary School, Jacqueline Jordan. And from St. Joe Southwest Middle School, Zar Sanders. Teachers, please deliver the pitch. San Diego County Teachers of the Year with their honorary pitch.
I thought I was okay. I had a degree, I had work experience. I should be able to provide for my kids. But they're just things that you don't plan on in life.
My husband got laid off and we are a family of 5.
My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I would ask the doctors, what can I do? And they would just say, just make sure she's eating. Our lives just changed completely. Thank God that we always had a plate of food.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Listen to the Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the Mightier1090.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
The San Diego Loyal got the come-from-behind win against the Colorado Springs Switchbacks last weekend. The Loyal trailed at the half, but Kyle Adams responded with a goal in the 51st minute to even things up. Tumi Moshabane found the net in the 63rd minute to give the Loyal the lead with his 4th goal of the season, but the Switchbacks evened it back up shortly after. Playing a man down, Evan Conway scored the game winner for San Diego in the 81st minute. The defense held on to get the 3-2 win. Colorado Springs still sits at second in the Western Conference with 36 points. The win for San Diego gives them 34 points on the year, closing the gap a little more. The Loyal next take on the LA Galaxy 2 on Saturday in another Western Conference rivalry match. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View. You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
What's going on to all the great friends that watch the show on television here on Cox Your View? What you're about to see will never be heard on radio, won't be seen on YouTube, no audio podcast. This is just for you here on Cox Your View.
Oh, shit. It's actually 6 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Hey, great friends. Those of you who are watching on Cox, on Channel 4 San Diego, Channel 4 Santa Barbara, or anywhere in Southern California on the Cox Your View network, we had been promoting for a long time Egg Fest down in Chula Vista. And on the weekend of, let's see, it was June 12th, Sunday, June 12th, that's when the event went down. So Grande Brown Man, let's show all of the Cox viewers what they missed. Did you guys have fun? This was a great event. I loved it.
More importantly, there was lots of food, lots and lots and lots of food.
Yeah. But there were also a lot of listeners that came down.
A lot of listeners, yeah.
A lot of listeners who live in the South Bay area that were like, hey, I knew you guys were going to be nearby, so I came over. And by the way, here's one thing that's interesting. Not only were there a lot of listeners, a lot of female listeners, which I thought was super cool. And what I hear from the ladies is, I love it when you guys talk sports, but I really love it even more when you guys aren't talking sports.
Yeah, it's when you bring, this much sex appeal to a show, you get a different audience, Scott,
Facts.
I know.
Facts.
Sexy.
I mean, look at these 3 mugs,
Totally.
That saying face for radio doesn't apply here.
Hey, there was one lady that showed up, 62 years old, white woman. All she wanted to do was talk about how Browner's her boyfriend. And I'm like, see, Brown? I'm like, this is your demo, man.
That's right.
Alex, show us, what are we going to take a look at? So this is exclusive for Cox. I mean, we'll talk about this on air, but this is stuff you're only going to see here on Cox Channel 4 in Your View. What are we going to look at here first, Alex?
What do you want to look at first? You have Browner being a drone videographer. You have pictures of food. You have we talked to Brian after.
All right, let's do this. Let's start off with food, because that's what Egg Fest was really all about. It was all about the food, right? So what are you going to show us here? Let's take a look.
This stole the show, right? I mean, you gotta.
Ooh, right. Yeah. Pig on the big green egg, which, to me doesn't look great, but it was pretty damn good. No, it doesn't look good.
Oh, it looks, when I walked in, that was the first thing I saw. I walked in to the left. This guy had that big green egg wide open. I was like, well, I know where I'm camping. This is where I'm going right here.
I couldn't eat it, man. It was too much. It was too close to looking like a real pig, man.
Well, it was a real pig.
It was a real pig.
I like to eat my food anonymously. I don't like it. I don't like to look at it and then put it in my mouth. I couldn't do that.
When I get a burger, it's just a burger.
Right.
I need to see the cow that it came from.
Bro.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't eat it, man.
Any other Any other food shots that we should take a look at? Because you like the pig. We didn't really love the pig.
Did you guys end up trying the bacon wrapped Oreo?
I did not try the bacon wrapped Oreo, but I think on the right side here, there's a bacon wrapped piece of chicken. Is that what that is?
No, it was a pork belly.
Oh, that's the pork belly. Oh, and what's that little sandwich you got going there?
Pulled pork sandwich.
Dude, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
That looks really good.
You know what's funny is that this whole time you just keep going from tent to tent to tent to tent, eating. I didn't take any pictures at all. Like the only reason I took a picture of the bacon wrapped Oreo was because I was going to text it to my lady. I was like, dude, they got bacon wrapped Oreos here.
You said they were pretty bomb though.
Okay, so it's really it was confusing. It really was confusing. You take a bite and your mouth is like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? And then the more you eat it, you're like, yeah, this is actually fantastic.
How about
bacon wrapped Oreo?
How about any pictures? Any pictures you got, Alex, of us with lots of listeners that were down? Because that was fun. That to me was a lot of fun. Hanging out with great friends. Oh, look at this crew right here. This is a great crew. Fat Tony's in the house. Tommy. This couple right here, they're wonderful. I love these two to my left. And then my friend Suzanne is on the far left. But this is a really wonderful couple, drinking beers, supporting. That was great. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, this lady right here. She works for the county of San Diego. What a sweetheart she is. She gave me her phone number. I went to text her to give her my phone number, and she gave me a landline. So I maybe I put the wrong phone number in. I don't know. Who else?
Girlfriend?
Oh, Browner's girlfriend. This woman. She's like, I
Sup,
love
boo?
Browner.
Sup, boo?
That's your girl, huh, Brown?
Yeah, that's my girl right there. Shout out.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. She gave me her Instagram.
Her husband
handle.
understand.
Her husband was like, I get it. That's Cheryl Delaney, by the way. Cheryl
Her husband
Delaney.
was like, take her.
Hey, Alex, show us the video. I know I talked to Brian a little bit. He was super excited about how the day went down. Show us that video if you could. Let's take a look.
Yo, so we promoted Eggfest for a long time. And today, Brian Bushfield, what do you think?
Huge success. Big. Look at it. We got 20 chefs, 40 eggs.
20 chefs, 40 eggs. We're walking in circles.
Tailing off. We would have been here an hour ago. We couldn't have done this video. There were so many people. Beer garden, huge success.
Yeah, and we did so much of the promotion besides radio was exclusive on Cox. So for everybody that's watching on Cox, dude, way to come out and support. Nice.
Right. And I mean, if you're thinking about advertising, Scott, Kaplan and Drew, Cox Cable, way to go.
Thank you for that. All right, it's an
Unsolicited. There you go. Thank you, Brian.
Unsolicited.
God, I'm fat. I got to lose weight. I need to lose.
Come
15
on, man. That's
pounds.
what you saw.
Dude, I got to lose 15 to 20 pounds. Hey, look, bottom line is this. To all the Cox Your View viewers out there, we really appreciate your support. And we'll keep on doing this where there's just Cox exclusive content.
If you're going to count yourself as a fan of this radio station, you'll need to continuously ask yourself one basic question. Am I listening enough? Pro tip, wives are not a good source for input on this. This is the Mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
What keeps me coming back is just learning more about myself in the classroom, and as I learn more about myself, I can share more about myself with my students, and I can open up more and care more and love more and teach more by example.
Teaching is just one of those things that if you have a heart for it, you've found your place, and I have found my place. I get to help little people realize what it means to learn something for the first time, and that's something like reading that will be with them for the rest of their lives.
Still a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit surprised. You know, you don't go into teaching for awards, you go into teaching because you sincerely believe you can make a difference in young people's lives, and that's kind of what got me into the field in the first place.
We use our phones to order our food, catch a ride, share our stories, and so much more. SDCCU made banking from your mobile device easy too. You can do so much, get up-to-date account balances, check on pending deposits, transfer money, deposit checks, and more. Safely and securely, all through the convenience of your smartphone. SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.